everyone. I am finally here doing my part 3 of this little journey series, as I'm calling it. Yes, I realize it's been a minute since the last video, but as I'm sure most of you can relate to, it's just been a little busy and hectic recently. As I've mentioned on here before, I do work in healthcare. Things have been crazy with all the going-ons with COVID. And, I would be lying if I said the emotional toll from some of that hasn't slowed me down a little bit. Plus, I have a lot of things changing with work right now too, because I'm transitioning into a new type of role essentially. But anyway, enough with all of that. I do just say all that because I do recognize these videos are somewhat sporadic. And you know what? Things don't have to be perfect to have meaning. So I plow forward anyway. And remember that for your own lives. Don't wait on perfect. Don't expect perfect. You can still do meaningful things, live a meaningful life, and experience meaningful moments even in the absence of perfect, even when you fall short of certain goals. Those things should not make you stop pushing forward. Anyway, back to our little journey series. So I thought in light of the holiday season that I would do this in front of the Christmas tree for a little ambiance. And also on that note, we did get a little bit of snow here today, which for a lot of you probably doesn't mean anything, but for some of you that live in maybe different climates, that's a little exciting for you. Let me walk you out here to the front door so you can see. We got several inches. It's still actually like coming down a little bit. Yep, I can't even open the door all the way because the snow is blocking it. I went trucking out there with my cat earlier. I thought that she might want to go play around in the snow, but she didn't really seem to like it too much. Yeah, it's really cold and wintry here, which is kind of cool. Makes you want to get cozy with some hot chocolate. Okay, so let's get to chatting. So I think everyone's going to be able to relate to this topic today because I think it's something that is plastered in and out and weaved through every aspect of everyone's life, and that is self-confidence, self-esteem, self-worth, and the ability to trust yourself and believe in yourself. How many of us struggle with that? I know a lot of fantastic people in my life that do. I know people who, from the outside looking in, actually seem very confident, but if you were to ask them, they would tell you that it's actually a struggle. Looks can always be deceiving when it comes to this sort of stuff. And this is a real huge issue that gets in the way of a lot of people's success and a lot of people's growth. Before we can do anything in life, we have to believe that we can do it. We have to believe that we are capable. We have to believe that we are worth it. We have to have confidence in ourselves, and we have to be able to trust ourselves. This is surprisingly hard for people to master, and I think when we are working towards a goal, or when you're working to get better at something, or when you're trying to obtain something that you want, it's very natural for us to think that we have to make the accomplishment first before we can feel confident in our abilities, before we can feel validated for believing that we are worth whatever it is that we are chasing. And I'm here to tell you today that that is completely backwards. It's totally the other way around. We need to have these feelings of confidence, self-worth, self-esteem. We need to be able to trust ourselves and our abilities. We need to be able to do all that first. That is the first step that allows us to excel and allows us to achieve. You don't achieve first and then, because of your achievement, have self-confidence. You manifest confidence and self-esteem and self-worth internally, and then once you believe in yourself, you actually will start seeing the progress that you start making. My barrel racing runs are a perfect example of this. I used to go to these barrel races, and I used to just wish and hope that we, would make a good run, because I felt like if we could ever just make a couple good runs, then all of a sudden, I would feel confident in my abilities. All of a sudden, I wouldn't be nervous going to the jackpots. I wouldn't be nervous in the warm-up arena. I wouldn't be nervous approaching the alley. All of a sudden, I thought that I would feel like I belonged there instead of feeling like an outsider or feeling like I wasn't good enough. I thought if I could just make a couple good runs, all of that would go away. All of a sudden, I would feel like I had the ability and the skill to do that thing without the fear of getting hurt or embarrassing myself. But I was totally wrong to look at it like that. And once I realized the error of my ways, everything started changing for me. I had it completely backwards, and a lot of you watching this today probably do as well. How many times do we need to say on these videos that the mind is the secret to everything? Your mind believes what you tell it. If you think you don't belong, if you're afraid you're not good enough, guess who hears that loud and clear? Your own brain. And your brain is the most powerful tool that you have. And guess what it's capable of? Fulfilling the prophecy for you. And that's what it used to do to me. I rode terribly, I rode scared, I rode timid, I rode like I didn't belong there, like I wasn't good enough. Our performance reflected the conversation that I was having in my own head. Additionally, if it's going to take a good run for me to feel confident and worthy and able, those feelings are only as good as my last run. I have been in situations where I have had good runs that I felt proud of, at least, in some certain aspect. And I'd come out the arena thinking, yes, I finally nailed it. I'm so proud of this. We got this. We're good. And those runs would give me that little boost of confidence in my ability for a moment. But let me tell you, that lasted about as long as the drive home. A couple hours later, you're right back into that doubt creeping in, and you find yourself thinking, oh man, like maybe that was a fluke. Can I actually do that again? It doesn't take long for those demons to start creeping back up. Yeah, you might have a little successful achievement or accomplishment that boosts your self-confidence, but it is short-lived, and it is not long before all those other fears start coming back in. Achievements are not the thing that gives you confidence. You need to manifest that on your own, internally, from your own being, without any achievement to back you up. And I'm certainly not suggesting or saying that we be cocky or that we be overconfident. That's dangerous as well. I'm not suggesting that we don't stay humble. That's a very different thing. What I'm talking about is believing in yourself, trusting that if you put in the work and effort and consistency that something takes, that you deserve to make the same achievements that you see others making. And trusting yourself to make the decisions to put you where you need to be, while also being courageous enough to reevaluate those decisions when you need to. And lastly, being kind enough to yourself to realize that progress takes time. No one is perfect. World champions mess up. The best football player in the world fumbles from time to time. The best baseball player in the world strikes out from time to time. The best stock trader makes a bad investment here and there. The greatest at what they do in this life have moments of not being great. They have imperfect moments. They have moments where they fall short. It doesn't mean they're no longer great. It just means being great is a process. It's moments of being better tangled with moments of messing up. Messing up should not shake our confidence. It's part of how we become great. It's part of greatness even after you've become great. Moments of failure always will exist. Learn from them. Use them to get better. But don't let those moments define the confidence you have in yourself as you're moving towards something better. When you start thinking about yourself as someone who has already won the race, it changes every fiber of how you perform, how you go about your day, what you find important, the work you're willing to put into something. Your mind is always listening to you. Make sure that you're telling it the story you want it to play out. All right, tune back in for the next chapter. Enjoy your night. Bye.